Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo saranto suchetoye olahadi samya samputoshi. Namo saranto suchetoye olahadi samya samputoshi. 无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿皆如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 师父上人，各位师兄，大家阿弥陀佛。Venerable Master, Dharma friends, welcome to our Sutra lecture. Glad you're here with us today. My name is Heng. It's Sunday, January 14th. We're here in the Gold Coast Dharma Realm Monastery to explore the Flower Garland Sutra and find out what the 6,000 bhikshus said to Manjushri Bodhisattva, and then what he said back to them. That's what we're about today. Let's get started. I can hear that. We are our community is raising a new crop of young kookaburras, and they're just learning how to fly, and so they fly all over the place into different territories, so you can hear the birds exploding in sound any time of the day or night. Followed by an acknowledgement of country, to say that we respectfully acknowledge Kumbh people, the Ugambe language region, as traditional storytellers and custodians of the land where our monastery is located. We pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 我们恭敬地承认Ugambe语族的贡布马里人，我们寺院所在地的传统事实和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向从所有为放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。That's how they say it here. Bells sound wide, resound throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传三千界内，佛法扬万亿国中，共训其法界和平，利益报他能厚德。Done. Thank you. Appreciate to the folks who are putting effort into this lecture series, helping it go further and wider, allowing me to speak in English only so that my words can be translated into Mandarin and also into Vietnamese. Deep appreciation. Also translating right here in the Buddha Hall here at Gold Coast Dharma Realm so that folks sitting here can, who don't speak English, can hear what I'm saying. That's what a delight for me that my words go further. That's what a treat. Also, the folks who are using their technological skills to put this simultaneously on Zoom, on a network that goes into China, and out onto YouTube, live streamed. So, thank you for all of that. And folks who are listening in on YouTube, hello to you. It's nice that you type in your comments, keep people connected as you're listening in. If there are questions that people have, please type them in, and Jerry, our faithful Siza, will transmit them right over here into Zoom. There was a question last week. Someone said, are we going to put out, is Buddhist Text Translation Society, BTTS, going to put out a text-only version of the Lotus Sutra without Master Hua's commentary? And the answer is, don't know yet. We'll pass on your request to the editorial board. That might be a volume in the future, might do that. Okay, now we're just about to, we're explaining chapter 39 of the Flower Garland Sutras, 40 chapters. It's the biggest chapter, it's really long. It's the most exciting chapter to me, to my mind, because chapters 1 to 38 talk about how to cultivate the Bodhisattva path in theory. Chapter 39 gives us the practice of that theory. Somebody goes up. There's a pilgrim. His name is Sudana, Shantai Tongzi. And he takes those 84,000 methods of practice and puts them into his life. He tries them out. He goes on the road. He walks in those shoes, and we get to watch. We get to take part. So this is, the original name of this chapter was the Ganda Vyuha Sutra. And of course, scholars, for as long as people have been looking at the Avatamsaka Sutra, scholars have had theories. What came last, which version was changed as it traveled from India to China, and then to Korea and Japan, and now into English. Lots of theories. And scholars need evidence before they can make their claim. And so that's what you do if you're interested in the text itself, not what it contains, not the principles it contains. So among those theories is the one that the Ganda Vyuha was a separate sutra. not part of the Avatamsaka. And there's some evidence that could say that it arose independent of the other 38 chapters. Good to know, good to look at, certainly worth a good conversation. Apart from those questions, there's a deep question, which is, should we look into the sutra at all? Should we open it up? Should we explore it? Our teacher, Shangshen Xiahua, our founder here, answered that question resoundingly. Yes, you should. In fact, he said, if you understand this text, there's no system of worldly knowledge that you won't be able to understand more deeply. Because why? This sutra has wisdom in it that you can apply to every part of your life. That's why. It's like a mirror, he said. When you look at this mirror, you see yourself clearly, deeper than you can without the use of this mirror. So there's a good reason to read it. And he also said that here is the essence of humanity's best human, the best kind of people that humanity has ever created, called the Bodhisattva, the unselfish, awakened being who lives to help others end pain, end their misery. Pretty good. In Christianity, we would probably call them a saint. Saintly people who live for the highest aspirations of humanity. 100% altruists who just live for goodness because that's what animates their lives. That's what makes getting out of bed valuable, worthwhile, is the ability to help other people understand their situations and solve them for the well-being of everyone involved. That's the Bodhisattva. That's what our sutra is about. And yet, scholars and others, and detractors, interested worse than just looking at the book from a purely historical, linguistic point of view, there are people who actually say, don't bother. It's too difficult. It's full of Sanskrit. It's all philosophy. It's boring, etc. Well, today, our section today is going to challenge those assumptions. What have we got in our section today? We have a conversation. We have conversation between 6,000 monks who are encountering Manjushri Bodhisattva. And the sight of Manjushri Bodhisattva, when they meet him, causes changes to take place in their lives, in their bodies, in their minds, in their spirits. Just seeing Manjushri Bodhisattva flips them out. That's what we're going to find out. Furthermore, what's even cooler is they ask questions of Manjushri and he responds. Okay, why is this significant? Let's get to the text, right? Hey, stop talking. Let's hear the Buddha, not you. Well, we'll get there. I started in Buddhism in the Zen world, the Japanese Zen world. And it has to do with historical reasons. For example, Dogen Chanshu, famous founder of the Soto school and someone who is universally admired in the Japanese Zen world. He is typical of the Japanese formulators, the monks who formulated Japanese Zen. He will go back and quote, he'll say, Joshu, the patriarch Joshu, asked, does a dog have the Buddha nature? Or was asked, does a dog have the Buddha nature? And he responded by saying, mu, wu. And he'll drop that nugget, just that, that repartee into the world of meditation. And you, as the student, are there to contemplate and just suck the wisdom juice out of that one word, wu, wu. And of course, the purpose of that is the purpose of looking into what's called a koan, a koan like that, is to kind of stop your discursive mind. It's not there to give you wisdom from its content. It's there to kind of be the anti-intellectual source. It's designed to shock your mind beyond words and thought. All right, that's good. That's useful. And there are many, many koans like that. But I point to that because today we have a dialogue between 6,000 monks, their teacher, Shariputra, and the Bodhisattva Manjushri, that is so incredibly rich and full of the same insight of Dogen, quoting the patriarch Joshu, that most people are unaware of. Most people, I would say, don't know that if you open the Avatamsaka Sutra and turn to chapter 39, the Gandavyuha chapter, Rufa Chepi, you can find two of Buddhism's wisest beings, Shariputra and Manjushri, having a conversation for the benefit of 6,000 monks, designed to teach them, to get them to their own wisdom and Buddhahood. And it's essentially terra incognita. Go out and ask folks, does Manjushri have a conversation with Shariputra? They go, who? You know, yes, they do. Here it is in the Avatamsaka. We're going to read it today. This is it. And when you, as a Zen practitioner, I was there going, moo, woo, no, the dog does a dog have the Buddha nature? Maybe. I've known some really nice dogs, some really wise ones, and some really stupid ones too. Buddha nature, you know, it's like so little to work with, just this little nugget. And yet, here in the Avatamsaka Sutra, we've got this gold mine of conversation, instructions, teaching from these wise beings that most people are absolutely unaware of. So, if I have piqued your interest, I hope I have. I hope I've kind of provoked some curiosity on your part. Let's take a look. Let's see what happens. Here it is. Last week, we finished right here, said, 接受文殊师利说法教化之所成就. These 6,000 monks were brought to accomplishment by the teachings of Manjushri, who spoke for them. Okay, let's jump right in. We'll set it up. We'll just read the first paragraph and get started here. Ready? Here we go. 尔时尊者舍利弗在行道中观诸比丘，告海觉言：海觉如可观察文殊师利菩萨清净之身，相好庄严，一切天人莫能思议. Okay. As they traveled, the Venerable Shariputra observed all the bhikshus and said to Bhikshu, Ocean of Enlightenment, contemplate the pure body of Manjushri Bodhisattva, his hallmarks and his adornments, which none of the gods can conceive of. All right. Backstory. The Buddhas in the Jade Grove, Bodhisattvas from 10 directions have arrived. They're all sitting on all sides, waiting to hear the Buddha speak the Dharma. There's a big show coming. There's tremendous teaching about to happen. And they're there, they're excited, they're ready to hear the Buddha speak the Dharma. And before that can get underway, we have seen some interesting activity, which is the sutra points us to Shariputra. Shariputra is greatly wise disciple. He is a teacher of 6,000 who were with him. So he, 6,001, the teacher and 6,000 disciples. And he has just witnessed Manjushri Bodhisattva say goodbye to the Buddha and come down to the realm of humans, come down to the world. He says, oh, here's my chance to introduce my students to the greatly wise Manjushri Bodhisattva. So Shariputra takes his monks into the Jade Grove. They bow to the Buddha one by one, and then say, we're going to go follow Manjushri. Okay, world honored one. The Buddha gives his assent, out they go. Okay, that's their backstory. So here's someone who was often appointed by the Buddha to teach Shariputra, who is going to find another teacher for his students. Okay, so we've got this interesting dynamics here. We have really wise Shariputra who is saying, opportunity has arisen to give my students another source of wisdom. Manjushri Bodhisattva. Let's go meet him, he said. En route, on the road, Shariputra says, I'm going to get you guys ready. I want you to look, the verb that it comes up 10 times is guancha. I want you to contemplate 10 things. Guancha, it says. Now, what it means to guancha here is to use your mind's eye. You can look with your vision, to look, to see, to observe. But better that, I want you to look within. That's different. To contemplate 10 things about Manjushri, so that these 6,000 monks will be ready when they finally meet Manjushri to have a sense of who he is. Contemplate as you look within. Interesting. It's different. Okay? So what's going to happen right now, we're going to get 10 things that Shariputra wants the bhikshus to look at in their mind's eye. Visualize. Are they seeing it with their own eyes? Maybe, but more importantly, they're seeing it in their mind. 10 aspects of Manjushri Bodhisattva that are going to give them a better sense of who he is. All right? Now, to do that, let's go right through. I'm going to read right down through the 10 and then come back and look at them one by one. We got right there. Let's proceed. Here we go. 如可观察文殊势力圆光映彻，令无量众生发欢喜心。如可观察文殊势力光网庄严，除灭众生无量苦恼。如可观察文殊势力众会具足，解释菩萨往昔善根之所摄受。如可观察文殊势力所行之路，左右八部平淡庄严。如可观察文殊势力所住之处，周回十方，常有道场，随随而转。如可观察文殊势力所行之路，具足无量福德庄严，左右两边有大福藏，种种珍宝自然而出。如可观察文殊势力僧供养佛，善根所留，一切世间出庄严藏。Two more. 如可观察文殊势力诸世间主欲供养云，顶礼供养以为供养。顶礼恭敬以为供养。如可观察文殊势力十方一切诸佛如来，将说法时， 西方眉间白毫相光，来照其身，从顶上入. That's getting a little unusual, but that's the deal. That's Manjushri. Here we go. Contemplate the perfect luminous radiance of Manjushri, which delights the minds of living beings. Contemplate the adornments of Manjushri's nets of light, which destroy beings' measureless afflictions. Contemplate the complete assemblies of Manjushri gathered in by his good roots planted in lives past. Contemplate the road that Manjushri walks on, which is broad, level, and fine for 8 strides to the left and to the right. Contemplate Manjushri's house and the surrounding Bodhimandas, which always revolve in the 10 directions. Contemplate the road Manjushri treads, which is replete with measureless blessings, virtues, and adornments. How on both and right sides lie magnificent hidden treasure troves, from which spontaneously spring precious gems. Contemplate how Manjushri had offerings to the Buddhas, and how because of the flow of his good roots, all the trees sprout adornments. Contemplate Manjushri and see how all the worldly hosts rain down clouds of gifts and make prostrations in reverence as offerings. And finally, contemplate Manjushri and see how whenever the Buddhas, thus come ones, of the 10 directions are about to speak the Dharma, they emit light from the hallmark between their eyebrows, and how that light illuminates Manjushri's body and enters into the crown of his head. Oh yeah, there we are. Here we go. Somebody might go, how's that again? What was that about? Shariputra says, okay, all of you monks, all my students, use your minds. Contemplate. What? Look at his body. Qingjing Zhishen. Look at his hallmarks. That is to say, kind of the 32 hallmarks that cultivators can get. His adornments. Xianghao Zhongyan. Gods can't compare. First. All right, so take a look at Manjushri himself, just from the outside. Look at the outside. Who has the finest physical bodies? Well, pretty much everybody agrees it's Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. Looks just the finest because of his cultivation and the results of that cultivation. Who else do you have? Guanyin Bodhisattva has 32 transformations. You don't even know if you're what you're looking at is not Guanyin Bodhisattva. Earth-store Bodhisattva, you want to look at him, you got to go to the hells. Oh, thanks, but no thanks. So let's look at Manjushri, and he is portrayed here as a young man. As a boy, almost. And he's really inspiring. But if you had to say beyond the bodhisattvas, who looks the best? It's the gods. The gods look so good. They look incredible, the devas. Who do we admire? Who do we recognize? Well, we recognize movie stars, our favorite musicians. Maybe we recognize politicians, we recognize athletes because of their physical look. Yeah. Probably here in Australia, most folks have recognized Ash Barty. Right? Ash Barty, tennis player. She was #1 in the world. And she retired just as a young woman. She said, no, that's it. She's good. She is a great hero to many sport-loving Aussies, and she's, by all reports, a fine person. So she is someone whom many Australians would recognize. In America, who would it be? Probably Michael Jackson, the late singer Michael Jordan, the NBA star. People recognize them. Movie stars. Every country has their favorites. When the thing about humans is we've got a short lifespan comparatively. You look at movie stars from the 70s and 80s when I was growing up, they are now, gee whiz, 40 years older than they were when they were on this lighting up the silver screen. And now they can't get work anymore because they got old. We did. We who were young in the 60s and 70s are now a lot older. So the gods don't have that problem. According to who? Our authority, the Buddha. The Buddha describes in the Avatamsaka Sutra the situation with gods a lot. What's it like with the devas? And one of the benefits of being born in the heavens is your body ages more slowly. You live longer. And while you're there in your God's body, you look really good. Manjushri Bodhisattva looks better. God can't compare. The gods can't even imagine the way a bodhisattva like Manjushri looks. The reason being what? How do you get your body? How do we look the way we look, including gender? How do we come back as a man? How do we come back as a woman? The answer is, depends on the blessings we cultivate while we're alive. The Fu Bao. If we live in a way that creates, they call it plant down blessings. The verb is, you think of it like a garden, the analogy of a garden. Then not only will our body be attractive, it'll be long-lived if we cultivate blessings that lead to long life and good health. The answer would be, if I were to ask our expert, Master Shren, his answer would be, if you say, Shifu, how do we get blessings? His answer would be, Ling Taran Hanshi. Make other people happy. Do things that please others, make them happy. The result is you get blessings. So living not entirely for yourself is a way to plant blessings. And those blessings come back in healthy, long-lived bodies. The alternative is xiao fu, enjoy your blessings, cash them in. Live as if there's no tomorrow and your appetite is the only thing that matters. And the result is you burn up your blessings and your body next time around is unhealthy and short-lived. So this is the way the Dharma talks. This is how we talk in the Dharma. Very practical. Our bodies are under our own control is the principle. So how we live determines how we live. There's a way to do it with wisdom and compassion that produces male bodies, female bodies, bodies that are healthy, bodies that are unhealthy, short-lived, long-lived, etc. Not only, we're talking about the physical body, not what happens to it. This is the body itself. So, Shariputra says, hey, bhikshus, I want you to look at Manjushri, look at his pure body, which will guarantee to be healthy and strong, how it looks, how attractive it is, and understand that the devas look at these bodies and go, I'd like to be that. And of course behind that is the exhortation to not seek to be born in the heavens at all. Don't seek to be born a deva, because devas are longer lived but also mortal. They die and come back. And you can fall out of the heavens if all you do is enjoy your blessings. So interesting instructions for the kind of your bank account of blessings. Don't cash them in. Invest instead. Right? You want to put your money in the bank of blessings. Put your blessings in the bank of blessings. Don't only, you want to deposit. You don't want to cash out. So, interesting. That's number one. Number two, he says, take a look at, pay attention to, give your attention to Manjushri's Yuanguang. What is his Yuanguang? We talked before. This is his aura. Look at the light around his body. When infinite numbers of living beings look at it, they get happy. So, can you see somebody's aura? Some people say they can. I've told this story before. It's a funny one. We followed Master Hsuanhua to Malaysia on several occasions. In 1978, this was our first delegation to small town Malaysia. We of course they did go to KL, and we went to Penang, but we also went to Alor Star, and we also went to Majapahit, and we also went to Coast and Klang, and we also went to Muar and Terengganu, and we covered north, south, east, west in Malaysia. And the lectures, the talks, were often in basketball courts and civic auditoriums and places where we drew the biggest crowd that had been there since the last, sport weekends. So after the lectures, people spontaneously wanted to bow to Master Hua. And we would finish the lecture, and then Shifu would go down to the 50-yard line. He'd go down to the center of the basketball court and put a chair down, and people would line up around the court by the hundreds to come up and bow. And nobody told them to do this. This is something that they asked to do. And I remember on numerous occasions, Master Hua, we disciples would be standing on either side, kind of directing traffic, and if people would bow and then not stand up, we would help them stand up, because there's 300 people behind them. Please move along. So, Shifu at one point said, what colors are you seeing? Shifu? He said, the surrounding, their aura, what color? You seeing mostly greens tonight? The Shifu? No, I can't see colors. Oh, you're not seeing any colors? Oh, okay. Well, still early for you, he would say. Teasing. You would out and out teasing. And then you say, there's a lot of red tonight. Shifu was looking at the aura of these people and, teasing us, encouraging us to continue with our cultivation so that we could see the aura. And then some nights he would say, wow, I haven't seen as many frogs in a long time. Mostly frogs tonight. There were some foxes too. Do you see the foxes? And sure, what? He'd say, oh, okay, that's all right. I remember. So, foxes and frogs in the audience. So it's like, okay, what? So the aura, the Yuanguang around Manjushri Bodhisattva is such that it makes people delighted when you see it. Now, I forgot to look. There we go. So Here's the Buddha's Yuanguang right here. Here's Manjushri's, here's Samantabhadra's Yuanguang. The light surrounding. And by this description, everybody has an aura around them, and it's colored and it's dynamic. It's a moving light. And just by being alive in a body, pretty much living beings' light is a pale yellow, apparently. So most of us have a kind of a pale yellow light. If you're a cultivator, that light can be purple or white. If you're an evildoer, that light can be mostly dark, black, or red, if you're angry a lot. So it's not a fixed quantity. People who have samadhi, their lights can be special. For example, what kind? Guang Wang Zhuang Nian, nets of lights that adorn, that decorate the body. And those lights, not only that, they 除灭众生无量苦恼. Manjushri Bodhisattva, says Shariputra, has just layers of lights around his body. And those lights, when they shine on us, our worries and troubles go away. They destroy our troubles. So we've heard the stories about Master Empty Cloud, our grand teacher, Shuyin Lao Hashem, that all you had to do was stand in his presence and you felt touched and moved and blessed, and spontaneously people would break into tears or be happy around him, to the point where famous stories about whenever we had a disciple who was Chinese but lived in Vietnam and would travel back and forth between Shanghai and Saigon. And being a faithful Buddhist, they took an opportunity in Shanghai to invite Master Empty Cloud to come and receive offerings in their home, which he did. And, excuse me, sorry, I should stop that. Please cough into the microphone. So, when Master Empty Cloud would come, the daughter of this layman would sit on the stairs. She wasn't allowed to be with the adults, but she would sit on the stairs and watch all the interactions. She, Mrs. Fang Zhishi, she would then became Master Shrinhua's disciple and told us about being in Shanghai when Master Empty Cloud came to get offerings and speak Dharma. And she said that he always had his beads in his hand. He had 9 fingers. He had his beads in his hand. And he would be reciting his beads. And people would come up to him with questions from left and right and north and south. They would ask all kinds of crazy stuff. And he never said a word back. And he would just keep his eyes down and recite. And people would, she said, I saw this happen over and over. People would come up and say, "Oh, Venerable Sir, I really need to know. My son doesn't want to go to the army, but he, can we possibly, is there any way that we can send him abroad to school, maybe to Hong Kong, can he be sent?" And Master Empty Cloud would be reciting his beads. And the person would go, "Oh, that's it. That's a wonderful answer. Thank you so much. Oh, I can't wait to tell my husband this is the perfect answer." He didn't say a word, but the people got the answer they were looking for over and over. Somehow, just his luminous radiance, his adornments of nets of lights, was breaking through these fears and doubts and emotions and giving people an answer. And they didn't realize that it wasn't in words. He was somehow just his virtue. He was said to be an 8th stage bodhisattva, by all accounts. He lived to be 120. So Can you imagine an adornment of nets of lights that destroy living beings' afflictions? Yeah. Yeah, you can, when you hear stories like that. Okay, Shariputra says, okay, all you 6,000 monks, ni ke guancha, what does he say? I want you to contemplate his assemblies, which come in, which are gathered together by Manjushri's Shangan, his good roots from the past. So what this means is, look not just at Manjushri, but who hangs out with him. Look at his surrounding, look at his gang, his followers, his disciples, his students, his Manjushri's good roots, his wholesome qualities. This is a technical Buddhist word, Shangan. Look at his wholesomeness, his goodness. People see it and they want to get close to him. They want to be part of it. They want more of what he radiates. And so they are around him. And you have to know, this is not just humans. There are all kinds of beings that follow Manjushri Bodhisattva because why? People want to be like him. They want to be him. They want whatever he does, they want it. So that's his Zhonghui. The group around him, like, yeah, more of that, please. So it's his goodness. Why do you follow him? He's good. Compare that with your local political candidate. Why do you follow him? Because of his kindness. He just moves my heart with his generosity. So rare in the political world. We would hope that that would be the reason people would vote for this candidate. Now, look at this one. He says, contemplate so xing zhi lu. Look at the road that he walks on. Look at the environment around Manjushri. Never mind his body. Look at what happens to nature. Nature itself responds to this bodhisattva because of the goodness that he exudes. What about it? 左右八步平淡庄严. To the left and to the right, 8 strides away, the road levels out. I think this is really interesting because we assume that the world is flat and paved and has a paint stripe in the middle so that traffic can go left and right without colliding. In the natural world, finding a flat road is pretty rare. Roads go up and they go down. It's crooked, it's a gully, it's a ditch, it's a mountain, it's a boulder, it's a cliff, right? But nope. Where civilization goes, the road is flat. And Manjushri is so civilized that without bulldozers, without engineers, without doing a survey with a sextant to get the, a straight line, the road is flat around him because his virtue makes it completely habitable. That's how good he is. All right, now this one I confess is out there. What is it? He says, take a look at 所住之处，周围十方常有道场，随随而转. Look at his house. Look at where he lives. Look at where Manjushri lives. Look at where he lives. And those, the Bodhimandas in that place, and its Bodhimandas. The places where people cultivate. What about them? They turn in 10 directions. Look at that. Contemplate it. So the bhikshus are going, whoa, yeah, all right. Tell me more about that. back to the road again, 所行之路, just like the one above. What about this? 具足无量福德庄严. There's all kinds of blessings and virtue that decorate the road so that 左右两边有大福藏, 福藏, 种种珍宝自然而出. This was, as I mentioned earlier, this is the one that stayed in my mind. Where Manjushri walks, gems pop out of the ground. Oh yeah, he's a special guy. This is an individual who is so virtuous that he can compel treasures to emerge from the ground, where they've been waiting and hiding. All right. So like I told you, this is all pure philosophy, isn't it? This is so lofty, it's so full of Sanskrit, nobody can understand, don't want to investigate it. It's like, no, this is about a bodhisattva who is so good that nature responds. He talk about right and wrong. Imagine if he was your decision maker, you would never make a mistake because he is clear on what's the right thing to do. That's where those good roots emerge. He's done that for so long and made the right decision so many times that nature just goes, we support him. We support him. Not only that, we're going to bring up the diamonds, we're going to bring up the rubies, we're going to bring up the emeralds, we're going to bring up the gold, we're going to bring up the silver. We want to celebrate this being, Manjushri's being. Okay, here's another weird one. What's that? Shariputra says, bhikshus contemplate how much Manjushri offered to Buddhas. He gave a lot to the Buddha. Every time he saw a Buddha, he made an offering. As a result, trees bring out their best. 增供养佛，善根所留，一切树间出庄严藏. So we've had the elemental world, like the earth world, the metal world, that would be Di Da and Qin Da. If you think of this in terms of elements, so we've had earth and Qin, metal, celebrate Manjushri's existence. Now it's Mu Da, it's wood. The wood element in the planet goes, we want to do it too. We want to celebrate Manjushri. We think he's great. We like him. And what we're going to do, we're going to make our trees show it. So what would the shu jian? It would be flowers. It would be fruits. It would be magnificent branches with luxurious foliage. Show their best. Because Manjushri, that's who he is. We want to do that too. Okay? He's an unusual bodhisattva, isn't he? So, I'm going to, this time. There we go. That's how you do it. So, the point is, Manjushri is trying to get these bhikshus ready so that when they have a chance to learn from Manjushri, they take advantage of it. They recognize him. They know who he is. Try this one. Leaders of the world rain down offerings and bow in reverence. 诸世间主. Now, what is a 世间主? This would be a leader. Yesterday, Taiwan voted for a new president and vice president. The year 2024, I've been listening to podcasts about politics, and many countries are going to elect their leaders in 2024. It's very interesting. For some reason, this 2024 is the election year like never before. Just somehow the cycles have come around so that in 2024, many countries in the world are going to be electing their leaders. So those leaders, what do? 与供养云，工具云. They make offerings to him so it looks like it's raining. The verb, rain as a verb, to rain down, gong ju yun. Furthermore, after they make their offerings, they bow to him, iwei gong ya. So your leader, he says, that's the leader I follow, Manjushri Bodhisattva. Contemplate it, because this is what's happening, says Shariputra. And now the last one, and this is one that you just have to go, okay, I'll take it. Whatever you say. 十方一切诸佛如来将说法时，西方眉间百光香光来照其身，松顶上入. When Buddhas are about to speak the Dharma, light comes out from between their eyebrows, and it illuminates his body and it enters the top of Manjushri's head. There you go. That's what happens. This is a very Avatamsaka state. And it helps to know that according to the backstory, Manjushri has been a Buddha before. He now appears as Bodhisattva to help our Buddha, Shakyamuni, teach. So this is a Buddha in a Bodhisattva's body. This is what's all this stuff. So that's it. Shariputra says, okay, now, with those contemplations, how are you doing? As you visualize, you put all of this goodness in your mind, in your mind's eye, where you do the contemplating. That's what I wanted you to do. How are you doing with that? All you new beginning cultivators, you bhikshus. The answer is, what happens? Take a look. When they do that, ready? 尔时尊者舍利弗为诸比丘称扬赞叹开示演说文殊师利童子又如是等无量功德具足庄严. At that time, Venerable Shariputra praised and described the use of Manjushri's blessings for the sake of the bhikshus. 比丘比丘闻师说已，心意清净，信业坚固，喜不自持，举身荣誉，心体柔软，诸根越狱，有苦悉除，垢障心见，常见诸佛，深修正法，具菩萨根，得菩萨力，大悲大愿，皆自出生，入于诸度，深深境界，十方佛海，常现在前，与一切智，深深信要。Continue. 祭拜世尊舍利弗言：唯愿大士，强引我等，妄以于彼圣人之所。Upon hearing of Manjushri's measureless virtues and his perfect endurance, the bhikshus' minds were purified, and their belief and understanding was confirmed to the point that they could no longer contain themselves. They leapt for joy. Their bodies were soft, their senses experienced delight, their worries and sufferings dissipated, their defilements and obstructions were completely gone. Their vision of the Buddhas stayed with them at all times. As a result of their profound search for the right Dharma, they embodied the faculties of bodhisattvas and gained their strength. They spontaneously experienced great compassion. They made vast vows. They entered the various paramitas and knew their profound states. The ocean-like assemblies of Buddhas of the 10 directions constantly appeared to them. They brought forth profound belief and delight in omniscience. Then they said to Venerable Shariputra, please, great teacher, take us to that Supreme Person. Right. Okay, this was another one of those moments that I remembered from my first reading of the Avatamsaka here in this chapter was, oh boy, at the when Shariputra said to them, use your mind's eye, not your physical eyes, use your mind's eye to visualize how Manjushri Bodhisattvas got these incredible blessings, that the earth flattens out, the earth spits up diamonds, the trees send out fruits and flowers, everybody gets happy, afflictions go away, just at his presence. After they do that, things happen to them in a Dharma way, in a physical way, in an intellectual way. Things change in their minds. Things change in their spirits. Things change physically for them. And it's also to understand this. Remember, these are beginners. These bhikshus, as it says, had not been cultivating for long. They were new. They were new. They were setting out on the path. And as we, if we keep that in mind, as we watch this, this progress, these results after their contemplations, it makes sense. Ready? Okay. So, upon hearing of Manjushri's measureless virtues, his perfect adornment happens, their minds are purified. So they don't have confusion anymore. They don't have writer's block. They don't have depression. Okay? Shini Qingjing. What else? Shinjie Jiangu. Their faith. This is key. Their faith and understanding becomes really solid. So what's the difference? Faith is belief without proof. Understanding is belief that comes from evidence. So if it's faith, belief, you just say, oh, I just know it's true. If it's understanding, you say, because this and this and this. And both, in this case, both the faculty of faith, faith is actually kind of, they call it a gun, it's an innate ability. And in Buddhism, if you lack that, if you don't have that ability to believe something, you're called an ichantika, shingan butu. It's called a ichanti, right, in Sanskrit. So, in other words, the ability to believe is a sign of a wholesome character. It's a good. This is called a shan fa. Is the faculty of faith. It's one of the roots of cultivation. Wu gan wu li, one of the five. So, in this case, these bhikshus, hearing about Manjushri, they get a full dose, they have a full capacity for faith and understanding, and what happens? Ju shen yong yue. They jump for joy. Have you ever seen people jump for joy? Kids on Christmas morning, dogs welcoming their owner home. Oh man, the Instagram and TikTok are full of dogs greeting their owners. That's leaping for joy. Shen Ju Shen Yong Yue. They're so happy, they jump around. People do it too. That happens to us. Furthermore, look at these two. Xing Ti Rou Ran. Bodies are soft. Zhu Gan Yue Yu. Their bodies are soft and their sense of experience to light. There's a physical response to hearing, to visualizing Manjushri. It's so good to know that there is somebody in the world like that who they're going to get to meet, that their bodies, all of their tension is gone, all of their, squinting with their eyes and holding their breath, none of that. It's just their bodies are like children, back to when they were 4 years old. Furthermore, emotionally, what happens emotionally? Yoku, shichu, Worries and sufferings go away. There's no more fear. Imagine living fearlessly in every circumstance. No more fear. No more anxiety. Oh, what if my company doesn't get the funding this round? What if we have to downsize and I have to go to employees that have been with me for 15 years and tell them they don't have a paycheck next month? All of that is gone. None of those worries, anxieties, fears. Furthermore, 垢障闲尽, their defilements and obstructions are gone. All of the habits, old habits, ways of thinking that get grooved in your mind is gone. No more. New mind, you have a fresh mind because of bringing the vision of Manjushri into your mind. Furthermore, your mind is so good now, so clean, so pure, so new, that vision of the Buddha, which is my highest potential, all there, all the time. Vision of the Buddhas stays with you. Furthermore, look at this. They've already left home as a result of their search for the Dharma. Beyond Buddhahood, the Bodhisattva realm, which is the potential to stay in the world to benefit others, emerges from their nature. So, putting Manjushri in your mind triggers the deepest goodness potential in you. Furthermore, 大悲大愿觉自出生, this goodness emerges. Great compassion comes forth in great vows from their nature spontaneously, simply by putting Manjushri in their mind. 3, 4 more. They enter the paramitas. This is the ability of Bodhisattva to teach. Shen Shen Jing Jie. They know deep states. Shi Fang Fo Hai Chang Shen Zai Chen. They see Buddhas all the time, not just like kind of a thought, but it's there. They really see. And again, it's a reflection of their own goodness. This is their own state that Manjushri has now brought forth just by holding him in your mind. And the goal is clear to them. The end of the path, Icheju, Sarvajña, omniscience. This is something that they deeply believe in and want to manifest. So, new priorities for them. Now, again, they're beginners. This is not the end of the path, but they see it. They know what they're about. And so they say to Shariputra, Shifu, can you introduce us to him, please? We want to meet him. And of course, Shariputra says, good on you. Good for you. That you decided this is what you're about. Yeah, we can do that. I would be happy to. He says. So, let's see here. People, we haven't done this for a while. We're still, we're reading about Manjushri and Shariputra and the new monks. And we think, well, how do we get there? How does that have to do with me? Well, the difference is blessings, 福报. So how do you cultivate blessings? Here we go. Seven Tathagatas names. These names were set out, given by the Buddhas, so that we who recite them can get blessings and meet Manjushri Bodhisattva. many treasures. Bao Sheng Rulai, born of victorious treasures. Jewel victory, victorious jewels. Miao Si Shen Rulai, marvelously formed body, Tathagata. Guang Bo Shen, extensive, vast body, Tathagata. Li Bu Wei Rulai, apart from fear, not fears, fearless Buddha. Dan Lu Wang Rulai, the Buddha, the Tathagata, sweet dew, ambrosia. And our old friend, Namo Amito Rulai, Amitabha Buddha. Given the Tathagata title, Rulai in every case, but it's just a Buddha, right? Namo Dopa Rulai, Namo Shen, Namo Yasa Shen, Namo Shen, Namo Libu, Namo Luang Rulai, Namo. When I feed the birds, I recite these names for them, hoping that it will plant seeds and that they will have extensive, good, beautifully formed, sweet dew human bodies in the future. Let's do it one more time. Namo Dopa Rulai, Namo Yasa Shen, Namo Shen, Namo Libu, seven Tathagatas' names. That's where blessings come from, among other places. But start right there, and we won't go wrong. Okay. They want to meet Manjushri. So, what happens next? Shariputra does. He says, sure. I have made an appointment with all of you for him. Here we go. 知舍利弗于其欲具行，知其所以，白言仁者，此诸比丘愿得奉敬。And so Shariputra and the bhikshus went to Manjushri's place and said, Humane One, these bhikshus wish to pay their respects. Pretty straightforward. That's not too philosophical, is it? This is a dialogue, it's a conversation between the greatly wise Arhat and the greatly wise Bodhisattva. 尔时文殊师利童子无量自在菩萨围绕，并其大众如向往回观诸比丘。At that time, the youth Manjushri, circled round by measureless, accomplished bodhisattvas, along with their assemblies, turned his head around like an elephant king and gazed at the bhikshus. I've often wondered about this image, the elephant king turning his head around. And interestingly, the commentary from the Tang Dynasty doesn't say much about this. It's just that it's dignified and it's full attention. We don't hang out with elephants, so we don't know what it means for the elephant, but I guess when the elephant looks at you, you had better be smiling, because the elephant is the largest land creature. And if it happens to dislike you for any reason, or decide that you don't belong there, you're in danger. And when he's gentle and he accepts you as part of his kingdom, the king of elephants is an awesome friend to have. So it's funny, just the other day on social media, a group was in Botswana, and this young male elephant came up and decided that he was going to set them straight, and it was awesome. And luckily he subdued them simply by his presence. He didn't charge, but it was quite a breath-holding moment, you know. And so here is Manjushri like Elephant King, giving his full attention to the bhikshus. There he is. They've contemplated him in his mind. They've seen in their minds, they've seen the blessings that he brings, and he's looking right at them. Okay, what happens next? 时诸比丘顶礼其祖，合掌恭敬，作如是言：我今封建恭敬礼拜，须臾所有一切善根，唯愿仁者文殊师利、和尚舍利弗、世尊释迦牟尼，皆悉正知。如仁者所有，如是四身，如是音声，如是相好，如是自在，愿我一切悉当具得。Thereupon, all the bhikkhus bowed his feet, placed their palms together in reverence, and said, "Now that we've met you, we want to offer our respectful bows and all of our good roots. We sincerely hope that you, the humane one, Manjushri, and our Acharya, Shariputra, as well as the world-honored one, Shakyamuni Buddha, will teach us how to realize a physical form like the humane ones. We want to realize such a voice, such fine characteristics, such self-mastery as yours. We wish to realize all of your virtues." There it is. So one of the things that occurred to me here is, notice Shariputra comes on. He is presented as a very selfless guy. Shariputra could potentially be jealous. You know, I'm going to lose my students. They're all going to Manjushri. Bummer. He doesn't. He says, I would like you to learn about the Bodhisattva path. You want to ask about the Bodhisattva path? Don't ask me, ask him. That's selfless. So there's no competition here. There's no fighting among teachers of wisdom. Shariputra says, here, meet Manjushri. Contemplate him. I want you to meet him. Here he is. And he goes, Venerable Sir, Manjushri, he says, these young monks want to talk to you. Look what they ask for. Notice, this is, I think, really interesting. They say, Jieshi Zhengzhi, the three of you, Shakyamuni Buddha, Shariputra, are Acharya. They acknowledge him as their teacher. And greatly wise Manjushri, Shijie Zhengzhi, we want you to certify us as we ask, how can we get a body like yours? How can we get a voice like yours? How can we get the spiritual aspects like you? And this one, Sudzai, we want to be free like you. We want to be, it's self-mastery is the word. This concept is still pretty mysterious. We've been trying to translate this for years and years and years, and it's still elusive. What does it mean? Bodhisattvas feel zi zai. Chinese, self-present. You're there. In Sanskrit, Ishvara. One of the gods is named Ishvara, and then there's Tadzai, Maheshvara. So it's birth and death doesn't control you, you control it. Ignorance and wisdom doesn't control you, you control it. Self-mastery. We want your rushi zizai, self-mastery like you. Yuan wo iqie shidang ju de. All of those virtues like that, we want. In other words, they want to look like him, sound like him, cultivate like him, act like him. Buddha, Shariputra, Manjushri, please. We're on the path. We want to know how to become a bodhisattva like you. Okay, I think that's very neat. is the way the sutra is outlining this encounter between different aspects of wisdom. One is Shariputra, who is a historical person, who was the wisest of the Buddha's disciples, and whom the Buddha often would say, I'm the you teach. Particularly, they say, the story goes that if the Buddha was challenged by a non-Buddhist religion, a Waidao, if, let's say, the Brahmins from some small town came to argue with the Buddha, or if, let's say, the ascetics who walked around naked, the Nigrantas, that group was there. If they came and argued, or if it was the Buddha's own cousin, Devadatta, the Buddha would say, Shariputra, you handle it. And he was the best debater, because he had a lot of wisdom. He knew just what to say to answer their questions without getting them angry. So, and many people would become a Buddhist after talking to Shariputra. So, he's here, and he's brought all his young cultivators who are just kind of, they could go either way. They could retreat, they could give up, they could decide that they want to get to nirvana as soon as possible. Shariputra is here to put them on the bodhisattva path so that they don't retreat. And his job is to introduce them to Manjushri. So that's kind of how this is sketched out. And now, Manjushri, what does he do? First of all, he pays attention to them. He turns around and stares at it, looks at it. And they say, the bhikshus, that another important point here is you can talk to him. Notice that. Manjushri is clearly presented as one aspect of the end of the path. This is success in Buddhism, is to be like Manjushri. And what about it? Go meet him, go talk to him, ask him your questions, bow to him, give him, say, could I have a bit of your time? Would you teach me? And he will. They're bowing to him, so it means within touching distance of him. And he's not up in heaven. He's not far, 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 far away and you have to wait and die and get grace. He's right there to answer their questions. And he does. Next week, we're going to get Manjushri's instructions, his answers to the bhikshu's questions of how to become like him. That really appeals to me. The accessibility of the teacher of bodhisattvas. He's there to answer your question. And he makes people happy as he does it. That's really appealing, isn't it? I mean, he's not far away. Gao Gao Zai Shan. They're not handing him red envelopes. They may want to, but they're not buying him off with money. They're imitating him. They're doing what he does as he makes offerings to Buddhas, as he causes the trees to blossom. Now, you think, oh, that's really cool for Manjushri, but what about we ordinary humans? Well, there are definitely stories. Master Empty Cloud, Master Shuyan, I believe it was, I should do my homework before I tell the story. But there was it Yunman, I believe, down in the south, when Shuyan Lao Hushan was invited to come and transmit the precepts, and he agreed. He said, I will. And the peaches and the cherry trees bloomed twice, out of season. there was a spontaneous manifestation of blossoms on a tree that already blossomed, and the blossoms had fallen and the fruit had come. The trees blossomed again, out of season. They're on property when Master Empty Cloud came to transmit precepts. So you say, 不可能的, 怎么会? Well, we've got an example of Manjushri Bodhisattva shows up and the trees show their zhuangyan, their decorations. Master Empty Cloud inspired the trees to blossom a second time out of season. So yeah, that's virtue, that's goodness, that's Shangan. Alrighty, enough from me for today. Let's listen to the monks at Berkeley tell us what's new. Dharma Masters, you want to take it, give us some information here?
Hello, Dharma Master. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Jinchuan Shi and happy to make announcements for upcoming months. So the first one you have to take out. It already happened a week ago.
Okay.
Buddhist Global Relief. And here we have a Guanyin session in the city of 10,000 Buddhas. So March 23rd, 31. What is unique about this session that those who never have a chance to try this kind of method and have a kind of very smooth track through the introductions and even special dedicated classes, and it will be the whole team of Dharma Ram Buddhist University Extension who take care of those who will join the Guanyin session. If people sign up here, and highly recommended. Also, Professor Doug Powers will offer some lectures as well during this session. And this is the retreat at Sudana Center, a retreat in Ukiah, just 15 minutes from City of 10,000 Buddhas. Did also by Professor Doug Powers, and as we heard, he will try to connect deep psychology, Jungian deep psychology, with Yogacara. So
really, that's it? He's announced it?
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
He's in the process of kind of brainstorming, but it could be meaningful for people to see that.
Yogacara and Jung, huh?
Yeah,
Yogacara and Jung.
The deep psychology actually was 2,000 years before Jung.
That's right.
And we definitely respect all the psychoanalysis and psychotherapy as well, but the Buddha Dharma has a lot of insights, what could be extremely important for going into our unconscious and healing a lot of wounds, whatever we struggle with.
Amen.
And moving forward, for many of us, this is a highlight of the year, Buddha Farm in Oregon, in a very remote and clean place when we can be in contact with nature, and also we can be in touch with Guanyin Bodhisattva. It will be the recitation retreat in the forest. We can sleep in the tents and have a retreat, 7 days retreat. So it's a very transformative experience for many, many people.
The application form is here halfway down the website. Here it is right here. So you have to go, if you go to the website, Buddha Root Farm, go down halfway and there's the application. Yep. Great. Okay, what else?
So the next, this is in 3 days of Air Store Bodhisattva session at Snow Mountain Monastery. The people are halfway through from California to Seattle and Index, Washington. They wish to visit this also very unique place in nature. And
Did you see my photo from yesterday?
oh no,
It
no.
snowed. It snowed at Snow Mountain.
Oh,
Everything was
snow.
covered in white. This is not it. This is the website. But yesterday they got a big snow. It's really beautiful.
Wow, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have 4 full seasons, and for Air Store will be summer, so will be a lot of hopefully sun, and yeah, it's a
It,
beautiful place.
yeah, it looks like this today. Like that.
Oh wow, this is great.
Those are the Cascade Mountains east of Seattle. They're spectacular. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Great.
Yes,
Okay.
and this is the very say one of the highlights of the year for sure for many people is the lay bodhisattva precepts. So those who want to become to learn how to become a bodhisattva, this is the time to actually take a real commitment and believe in the principles of the bodhisattva, connect to the world and themselves.
Yes, and
spirit
I
of
want to
service.
say, it says February 1st, which is 2 weeks from today, but please, if somebody's considering, don't wait. The spaces are limited and they're filling up really fast. So if you were considering applying, you have to do it right away.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, I think
Thank you for that.
it's for our side, and of course we have upcoming lectures. Rebecca Schure's lecture will be tomorrow. Here's another. It was from Friday. Master Xu biography. To warn people that time actually changed from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. We moved from 12:30. And now it's in afternoon, and tomorrow at the City of 10,000 Buddhas channel.
Actually, I'm interrupting because the Chan session is still going on, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so okay. I won't be lecturing tomorrow. There's one more week of Chan session. So, yep. But following that, back on Sunday night lecture.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you for the news. Appreciate that. Good to hear from Chinwei Shi. GCDR, we just finished our New Year's mantra receipt. Okay, is it on this? Okay. Chinese New Year program, GCDR. Here we go. We will have down. Oh, got it. Okay. Chinese New Year blessing ceremony, 2024. There it is. February 9th. That's Friday and Saturday. So, going to be the year of the dragon. Huh? Yeah. Big deal. Great. Alrighty. Good indeed. So we are going to use our Medicine Buddha mantra to dedicate merit. Medicine Buddha's vows include food during times of famine and medicine in times of lack of medicine. And there are places right next door to us, psychically and spiritually, even though they might be 1,000 miles around the planet, that are undergoing extremes of suffering. So we can recite this mantra with our hearts. It changes the atmosphere. So let's put our hearts into that. And you're free to transfer merit wherever you care to. samyak sambuddhaya samyak May it be so. And we can bow to the Buddhas and bow to our teacher, and that will do it for the day. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. All right, we'll see you all next week for some instructions from Manjushri Bodhisattva himself. Amitofo. Bye, everybody.